I never expected a quiet Sunday morning to change everything. Sunlight spilled across the wooden floor of my apartment, warm and unassuming, as if nothing could go wrong. I was curled up on the couch, half reading a book and half listening to the hum of the city outside. Life was ordinary, predictable, safe, until I saw the journal. It wasn't hers, not mine either. I had never noticed it before. Tucked in the corner of the living room beneath a pile of old magazines. The cover was worn leather, the edges frayed, and the lock small but intact. Something about it drew me in, an almost magnetic pull. My hands trembled as I picked it up. I paused. I shouldn't. That voice in my head warned me. But curiosity, that irresistible, consuming curiosity, had other plans. The moment I flipped it open, I knew my life would never be the same. The first page was blank, as if inviting me to read further, to discover the secret hidden within. A soft creak of the floor behind me made me freeze. Had she noticed? Had I already crossed some invisible line? My heart thumped in my chest, quick and uneven. I turned the page, and the first words leapt off the paper, simple, deliberate, and terrifying. They were meant for someone else, someone she trusted. And suddenly, I felt like an intruder in a world I had only glimpsed from the outside. I sank onto the couch, journal clutched to my chest, trying to make sense of the words. My fingers traced the lines as if they could guide me through the maze of emotions they had unleashed. Shock, confusion, a flicker of betrayal I couldn't place. Why hadn't she told me? I whispered the question aloud, but the room stayed silent, offering no answer. Every paragraph I read pulled me deeper. I could hear her voice in my head, soft and intimate, sharing secrets meant for someone else entirely. I felt like I was falling into a story I wasn't supposed to know existed. And in that moment, I realized my perception of her, of us, of everything was about to be shattered. Her name was Clara. She had moved in next door 3 months ago, a quiet presence in my otherwise predictable life. Brown hair that fell in gentle waves around her face, eyes that held both mischief and melancholy, and a smile that could light up even the dullest hallway. We'd grown close, sharing coffee in the mornings, swapping stories about work, life, and dreams too easily left unspoken. I, on the other hand, was as ordinary as they came. Mid-20s, office job. Weekends spent reading or running errands, life steady but lonely. Clara brought a spark. A kind of warmth I didn't know I craved until it was there. Our apartment building was small, the kind where everyone knew each other's comings and goings. Yet, even in this intimate setting, Clara had corners of her life I'd never been allowed to see. Her journal, that tiny, unassuming book, was one such corner. I remembered the day I first noticed it, tucked away beside the old record player in her living room. It had seemed innocent, almost decorative. But now, in my hands, it was a Pandora's box. The city outside hummed, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. I could smell the faint scent of coffee lingering from earlier, hear the faint rustle of leaves brushing against the window. Every detail, mundane yet alive, seemed amplified against the tension I felt. I tried to rationalize it. It's just a journal, maybe nothing important. But deep down, I knew the truth. Clara wasn't one to write trivial things. Each page, each sentence, bore weight. And something told me, instinctively, that the next words I read would change everything. I flipped to a page dated only weeks ago. The handwriting was elegant, precise, almost delicate. But the words were jagged, sharp in their honesty. I can't tell him, not yet. If he knew, everything would fall apart. My pulse quickened. He? Who is he? My eyes scanned, faster, desperate to piece together the puzzle. The following lines revealed a secret rendezvous, whispered confessions, and a promise that I was never meant to hear. A sudden knock at the door jolted me. My stomach sank. Could she know I had it? My hand froze mid-page. "Hey, are you home?" Her voice floated through the door, casual, unaware, perfectly innocent. My heart thumped painfully in my chest. I stuffed the journal behind a cushion and smiled when I opened the door, hoping I hadn't betrayed myself. "I'm here," I said, trying to keep my tone steady. Clara stepped in, radiant as ever, her eyes briefly flicking to the couch where I had hidden the journal. My chest tightened. Did she suspect? I nodded toward the kitchen. desperately hoping to shift attention. "Coffee," I offered. She smiled, oblivious, and started making it. I stole glances at her, trying to ignore the journal's pull, but every fiber of me screamed to return, to read, to understand. The words were alive, crawling in my mind like tiny sparks threatening to ignite a fire I wasn't ready for. Every day after that, the journal haunted me. I couldn't resist. Each page revealed more, a secret relationship, a hidden pain, choices she made that left me reeling. I felt like an actor in her story, yet powerless to change it. Then came the moments when her words intersected with reality. The missed calls, the sudden hushed conversations when I entered the room, the brief glances that lingered too long. Each small gesture hinted at the life I didn't know she had, the version of Clara hidden behind the smile I thought I understood. I tried talking to her, gently, casually, but she deflected. I couldn't bring myself to mention the journal. Not yet. One evening, I found her phone buzzing with a message that wasn't meant for me. I caught a glimpse. "Meet me where it all began." Midnight. My chest tightened. The world seemed to tilt. She was walking a path I hadn't imagined, and I was terrified of being left behind. Midnight arrived. I couldn't resist. I followed her silently to the old park, the air thick with anticipation and the scent of rain-soaked grass. She was there, waiting, her face illuminated by the soft glow of a street lamp. Then I saw him, a man I didn't know, arms outstretched, face smiling in a way that made my stomach twist. Clara approached, hesitant, yet warm, and in that moment, I understood the weight of her journal, the emotions, the secrets, the risks she had been carrying. I stepped back, heart racing. Every revelation shattered my assumptions, and yet a strange empathy swelled inside me. She hadn't lied out of malice. She had hidden because she cared. I approached her slowly. My voice shook. "Clara, I know." Her eyes widened, a flash of fear crossing her face. You shouldn't have followed me." "I had to understand," I whispered. "I had to know the truth." For a tense moment, silence held us captive. Then she explained everything. The choices, the consequences, the love she had hidden. Every word unraveled the story the journal had begun, and I realized the person I loved was still there, authentic and real. We stood there in the rain, the world around us fading. I could feel the tension release, replaced with understanding, empathy, and a bond strengthened through revelation. The next days were tentative. Conversations were longer, touches warmer, glances loaded with unspoken understanding. I saw her fully, and she saw me. The journal remained on the shelf, a relic of our shared ordeal, now a bridge rather than a barrier. We laughed more, we argued less. Every ordinary moment, smell of coffee, the brush of hands, the quiet evenings, held a newfound intimacy. The emotional distance that had lingered vanished, replaced with warmth, care, and a tentative trust that felt unbreakable. Weeks later, I touched the journal again, gently, almost reverently. It no longer held the same fear, the same tension. Instead, it reminded me of our journey, the fragility, the surprises, the truths we'd uncovered together. Clara smiled at me across the room, sunlight spilling over her hair. "You didn't have to follow me," she said softly. "I had to," I replied, "because some truths, no matter how painful, deserve to be known." We sat together in silence, the journal between us, a symbol of honesty, trust, and the messy, beautiful complexity of love. Outside, the city moved on, unaware of the quiet revolution that had occurred in one small apartment. Inside, everything had changed forever. And yet, I couldn't help but wonder what other secrets the world might be holding, waiting for someone brave enough to find them.